Let's bring you that story now, with South Africa expecting more heavy rainfall this week. The Northwest is already counting the cost of damage due to the rains. Let's speak to Thsolofelo Mathibedi, who works for the Human Settlements MEC in that province. Thsolofelo, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. We are told by weather forecasters that more rain is on the way. What's the situation like currently in the Northwest?
Okay, but then the situation in the province has been a bit dire, if one can say that. There's been weeks of heavy rains, which then has led to a couple of disaster areas cropping up. The first one was more or less a week ago in a village called Monakato in the Moses Kotane municipality region, under the Bojanala district municipality, where about 70 houses were destroyed by the heavy downpours that were experienced in that area. Whilst we were still dealing with those type of challenges, we then were alerted to a situation in Bloemhof, and what happened in Bloemhof actually coincided with what then happened in Moretele. So we had a situation wherein it was Monakato. Then when we were still reeling from Monakato, then Bloemhof, the problem in Bloemhof then started, where people lost about 15 houses were affected by the downpours in that area. Whilst we were still talking Bloemhof, then it was Moretele, Lebotwana and Peding villages where about 20 houses were affected by the downpours that we have been experiencing over the past week or so.
That's more than 100 houses having been destroyed in those various localities. So currently, any emergency relief that's being given to the affected residents of the various areas? Do you have disaster management teams on the ground?
Yes, disaster management teams have been on the ground ever since the situation in Monakato, wherein they stepped in together with the assistance of the social development department, where they were there to try to check with the families that have been affected, because obviously when you have your whole roof blown away by the winds, then it means your millipap that you had in the house and some of the foodstuffs would have been destroyed. So we were working together with, or the department was working together with the Department of Social Development to try to, whilst responding to the crisis at hand, try to give them some social relief, try to give them, some things for them to can get by on a daily basis. So it has really been that sort of situation, and the disaster teams are on the ground in all the affected areas trying to deal with the problem. But over and above that, they're even taking stock, or the department, when we were with the MEC in Bloemhof to check the situation there, the MEC actually talked about taking stock of the whole, housing situation around houses that still have asbestos on the roofs and houses that might have some problems, saying we need to go above and beyond just fixing what is there now. We should then look at, structural issues that might have problems or that might pose problems in the future. So that's what the department has been doing, whilst reacting to the crisis, but at the same time taking stock and trying to fix what might happen in the future, trying to circumvent what might happen in the future, if one can call it that.
Yeah, there's a need to plan for the future. But as I said in my intro, Thsolofelo, the weather forecast is that there'll be more rains this week in South Africa. I mean, we are in the middle of summer. It is the rainy season in a large part of the country. Are there interim measures of relief that have been given to those people who've been affected in Monakato, in Bloemhof, in Moretele, in Lebotwana, all these places that you've mentioned, in terms of provisional shelter?
Yeah, as indicated, the disaster teams are on the ground. together with that, it's, looking at, because you have to check you have to check all those issues on a case-by-case basis. And the MEC actually said that where there are cases where people need temporary shelter will be organized for those people. But where people can be assisted with, maybe because in your Blue Mall, for an example, we had a situation where a shack was blown down completely. Then the municipality there and then was mobilized with the assistance of people in the locality to say, can we do something? Can we get corrugated iron sheets and whatever, and try to help these people rebuild? Those that can be helped to rebuild, let them be helped to rebuild at the moment. But at the same time, those that are in a situation where they don't have a roof over their houses, then those would then be located or allocated temporary shelter for them, because as you indicated, there is more rain on the way. So they need to move away from those situations where there's literally no roof on their houses to get temporary shelter, while the processes in the department are still going on to ensure that, emergency grants are then unlocked to help them to fix their houses.
Okay, thank you very much for that update. Thsolofelo Mathibedi speaking on behalf of the MEC of Human Settlements in the Northwest Province.